Hi, this is Jeff Curto, and welcome to episode number 100 of Camera Position, the podcast about the creative side of photography. Wow, episode 100. I know that I, along with many of you, did not think that I'd ever see this day. 100 episodes of this podcast about this medium that I love so much, and ways that we all, those of us who are seeking to become better as photographers, the ways that we can all grow and approach the medium in new and interesting ways, try to see what we can make of this thing that we are all so passionate about. I'm really happy to be back producing Camera Position. It looks like we're on a sort of regular schedule to publish about once a week, and I am so appreciative of those of you who are out there listening, and especially for those of you who have been stalwart supporters of Camera Position since way back of an episode number 1, which I published in February of 2006. So here we are. And as I thought about what it was that I could use as a signpost, kind of a podcast topic for this momentous seeming occasion of 100 podcasts, I thought about a basic tenet that I hold in photography, a basic idea I have about what photography is and how photography works, and that is really based on a thought that one of my greatest photographic mentors, a guy named Neil Rappaport. I talked briefly about Neil back in episode number 35 of Camera Position, and I probably will at some point talk more about Neil and his legacy, both as a photographer and also as a teacher of photographers. But for now, let's just sort of talk about one of the things that Neil taught me about photography. And one of the things that he used to say a lot was that photography is essentially making a mountain out of a molehill. Making a mountain out of a molehill. Now, to a lot of people, that phrase has a kind of negative connotation. Oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. But photographically, when we make a photograph of something, we elevate the importance of that subject merely by the act of paying attention to it with our camera. And this basic idea is one of my most closely held photographic beliefs. And what I've discovered about photography is that it doesn't matter how insignificant the subject may appear to be, the camera's lens and our point of view give it some importance. The idea of us taking a picture of this thing, whether it is insignificant to the rest of the world or not, we have conferred significance upon it. We have made it a significant thing. So that idea of making a photograph of something that we find intriguing somehow, it attracts our attention for just a little bit of time, but the mere act of photographing it somehow makes it significant, makes it sometimes monumental. And it is one of the things about photography that has always attracted me. And I think it probably attracted me long before Neil Rappaport put a name on it, of making something out of nothing. But it really has really sort of informed all of the photographic work that I have done, that I treasure, and the work that I think is the strongest work that I've done, really is about taking something that is not terribly important and elevating its significance merely by pointing my camera's lens at it and making an exposure. And then sharing that exposure with other people, looking at the way that I see things and showing someone else this thing that somehow, because I have decided to aggrandize it with my camera, now has some significance. So conferring significance, that's another sort of part of the topic for this podcast today, returning to my roots as a photographer, but also introducing the theme for the 2013 Society for Photographic Education Conference, which I happen to be chairing. Now, I know that a number of you who have listened to this podcast over the years some of you are members of SPE, the Society for Photographic Education, and others of you have heard me talk about the Society and how important it's been to my development as a photographer and as an educator. And in fact, the Society for Photographic Education is an organization devoted to teachers and learners of photography. So it is an organization that is That's membership is made up of mostly photo educators, but also many, many photo students, both formal photo students at colleges and universities, and also photo students, people who are just interested in the ideas about photography. And I think if you've never attended one of our national conferences, you would be pleased to learn that very little of the content is about how to, and a lot of it is about what to do. The how to do versus what to do tips decidedly toward the what to do with photography and what photography means at SPE conferences and in our journal exposure. This 100th episode of Camera Position will publish during the weekend of the 2012 conference, which is happening in San Francisco, California. But the 2013 conference will be held at the famed Palmer House Hotel in Chicago, and it also happens to be the 50th anniversary of the Society for Photographic Education, and I am just really honored to be the chair of this conference, and our theme for the conference is Conferring Significance. Conferring Significance, Celebrating Photography's Continuum. So we'll be looking at the history of the medium, we'll be looking at contemporary practice in photography, and we'll also be looking at the history of the Society for Photographic Education, a society that has been tremendously influential to the careers of many photo educators, as well as many, many, many photographers. March 7th, 8th, and 9th of 2013, I hope to see a lot of you there at the conference at the Palmer House in Chicago. This year's SPE conference, for the first time ever, sold out, so we're hoping that the 50th anniversary conference next year in Chicago will also be very popular. So watch the spenational.org website, spenational.org. I'll put a link to that in the Camera Position podcast blog, as well as on the app. Hey, thanks for those of you who have bought the app. I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope you're enjoying the extra content that I put on the app in the form of some image wallpaper, as well as a PDF that kind of highlights some of the concepts of the podcast. So thanks for being here, and go out and make some photographs and point your camera at something that does not immediately appear to have some significance, and elevate the significance of that object by making a photograph of it, paying attention to it, and showing the rest of the world this thing that is beautiful or odd or strange or interesting to you at least, and then show other people how that interest kind of can grow as we point our cameras at things. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you again on the next episode, the 101st episode of Camera Position, the podcast about the creative side of photography.